It's an everyday thing. It's an everyday thing. It's an everyday thing when you let your nuts hang.
In the criminal justice system, sexually-based offenses are considered especially heinous. In New York City, the dedicated detectives who investigate these vicious felonies are members of an elite squad known as the Special Victims Unit. These are their stories.
Okay, so y'all been asking for story times, and I started recording story time, and I'm talking about 10 minutes. Went to go upload it to start part 2 and accidentally deleted, so I'm starting over. So anyways, I asked y'all to tell me which story time y'all wanted to hear first, and the majority of everybody wanted to hear about who the fuck did I let live with me. So that's where I'm gonna start my story times off. All right, so part 1 of who the fuck did I let live with me. So I had this friend that she was a friend at the time. We're no longer friends, have not spoke to each other since the end of this incident. But anyways, we were like this. I'm talking about, we talked every single day. Sometimes we would be on the phone and have nothing to even talk about, but we literally talked every single day. I consider her to be one of my bestest friends. And let me just clarify, when I do story times, I'm not talking bad about nobody. I am just going to state facts and give y'all the tea. Not talking bad about nobody, not talking down on nobody. I don't have no ill wills towards anybody. None of that. So any story time that I give you, I don't have no ill wishes towards nobody. I'm just stating what the facts are, just giving y'all tea. So anyways, I moved to Atlanta in April of 2018. And when I moved to Atlanta, I started off working in the nightlife. I was working in the nightlife as a dancer. I don't care. I am retired. That life is done and over with. But I moved down here literally with nothing. So I was like trying to build myself up. So I was taking clients on the side, like doing personal training, but I was also dancing to supplement. So I had a 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom apartment, and I had a friend who also wanted to, she also wanted to move to Atlanta to pursue her career, whatever the career she wanted to pursue in Atlanta. But she already had a career back home in Cleveland. Well, it was summertime and she wasn't working, so she decided to come down and visit me. I think it may have been like July when she decided to come down and visit, just to, you know, get a feel of Atlanta for a little bit. So obviously she didn't have no job, so I was trying to put her on, and I tried to put her on to the club just to make some money, because I mean it was decent at the time when I was working at Blue Flame, because I was working at Blue Flame. Hated it, absolutely hated Blue Flame. That's a whole nother story time. But anyways, so I tried to put her on, helped her get her permit.
Watch out, vehicle on shoulder ahead.
Get what she needed to get to start her dancing career or whatever. So we went to Blue Flame for the first night or whatever, and she absolutely hated it also. I don't blame her, because I did too. But I think she just didn't like it, one, because she was just taller than everybody, and Blue Flame had a lot of the big booty girls. So it was hard for me too at the time, because when I came down here, I thought I was a big booty girl till I started working at Blue Flame. So anyways, she didn't like that club, so I didn't like it either. So we decided to go try out another club, and it was called Dow House. It was like in Sandy Springs, which was like a white club. It was more her speed. It wasn't fast enough for me, but it was still like, so I would still go to Blue Flame and she would go to Dow House or whatever. But this one only lasted for maybe like 2 weeks. couple weeks or so. So anyways, it wasn't her speed, so she ended up going back to Cleveland, and she was like, you know, I'm just gonna wait until December to come down here. Let me get my affairs in order, because the job she was working at, it was gonna be easier for her to move in the wintertime anyway. So I was like, all right, cool, you know, start looking for jobs. And because I got this 2-bedroom, 2-bath, my bills and my rent's gonna get paid regardless. So, you know, because I considered us to be like this, I told her that when she was ready to come back down, she can stay with me for the first couple months or so as she was looking for a job. I wasn't gonna charge her no rent. So fast forward to January, she decided she was ready to move down. She came down with like her clothes and stuff, and I think like a bed or whatever, or she might have ordered a bed. I don't know where the rest of her stuff was. She might have had put it in storage. I don't remember. But anyways, so she moved down, and because I knew that dancing just wasn't her speed and that wasn't what she wanted to do, I was still trying to help put her on. So I would send her different job opportunities for restaurants, clubs, as a bottle girl, as a waitress, bartender. I'm sending her like all this stuff, like, hey, check this place out, because I was really only expecting for her to not pay me rent for like 2 months. Okay. So yeah, so she just kept turning down everything that I sent her. Like, she had some excuse as to why she didn't want to do it, or she just wouldn't even look into it for real. So, you know, internally I'm starting to get frustrated because she's more so trying to find acting and modeling opportunities to get paid off of. But when you're new into the industry, that's not going to be enough to pay your bills. Like, I understand that that's what you're trying to pursue, but it was not going to bring in no money to help pay your portion of the rent. So January passed, February passed, still no job, still hasn't paid me any rent, hasn't given me any money towards utilities or anything. And I'm the type of person, I'm not gonna ask nobody for shit, for real. I'm not gonna ask you for shit, but it just be the principle. Like, if you know you should be helping me out, you should be helping me out. Did I need your help? No, because by this time I was working at Allure. Allure had opened up in, I think, September, and I had started working at Allure. I was making great money. I didn't need her money at the time, and I was dealing with somebody also who was helping me out. So I didn't need her money, but it was the principle. Like, you're living here with me, you're using up my utilities, you're eating the food that I put in the refrigerator. Like, she would go buy like some groceries, but at the end of the day, you didn't give me $1. Like, didn't give me $1. But I wasn't tripping. So March rolls around, and me, her, and another one of our friends had decided to go to Miami. So it was me, her, and one of my other friends. We decided to take a little weekend trip to Miami. Now, mind you, remember, she had been living with me for 2 months, rent-free, utility-free, but she had money to go on vacation. And I wasn't tripping because, again, I wanted to go to Miami too. It was just a little weekend getaway. But what she had told me was that, like, she had some money from like a 401k or something like that, where from her previous job that she left, that she was waiting on getting like a lump sum of money from. So she was like, when I get it, then I'm gonna pay you up. And I was like, okay, cool. So she was supposed to get the check in like May, June. So she told me she was gonna pay me up for like 2 months. Cause I think I did tell her like I would give her 3, maybe 4 months max of to like figure it out. But yeah, so okay, so we went to Miami, and Miami was fun. Like, we had a good time. We met up with some of my homeboys that I knew from Cleveland. I put her on to like my homeboy's friend or whatever. Like, we had a bomb-ass time. Like, we went out, went to the beach, had a good time. But the weather sucked, so it rained the whole time. So we ended up coming back to Atlanta after the trip or whatever, and I'm still expecting her to look for a job. Now, mind you, at the time, I am damn near working 3 jobs. So I was taking my own personal clients, doing personal training. I was training at Orange Theory, and I was dancing at the club at Allure at night. So I'm talking about, it would be nights where I'm at the club at 10 p.m. I don't leave until 3, 4 in the morning, or sometimes 6 in the morning, and I'm up training clients at 7, 8 a.m. You know, so I'm grinding. Like, I am out here doing what I'm supposed to be doing. So that's when it started getting frustrating, because it's like I am busting my ass. I am going to work. I am working 3 fucking jobs, barely getting any sleep, and you just sitting at the house chilling all fucking day and not paying no bills. So I'm busting my ass working 3 jobs for you to live scot-free up in my shit. So anyways, so still didn't say anything, because again, I'm thinking she's waiting on this check, this money that she was supposed to get. Okay, so March passes, April passes. So April comes around, she's like, okay, I'm supposed to be getting the check and next month, so I'm gonna pay you for May and June's rent. And I'm like, okay, cool. Mind you, still, she hasn't even given nothing towards the utilities, so I'm still paying the utilities. Like, you could have gave me $50 towards the light bill, you know, or the water bill or something, but I'm saying, like, she didn't give me nothing, y'all. So the guy that I was dating at the time, he was like, yo, you need to, this bitch gotta go. She not helping you out. Like, she gotta go. And I'm like, no, like, she's my friend. I wouldn't do that. I'm just being patient. I'm giving her time. Like, I know it's hard. And he was like, yeah, I don't see it. I don't get it. But whatever. Now I know he was right. So anyways, May comes around. She still ain't got the check. Now remember, I told y'all that I was working at the club, right? So it was maybe towards the end of May, beginning of June. She had came up to Allure one night to hang out or whatever. And I guess she ended up getting one of the security guards' phone number. So I guess they started talking, dating or whatever. I didn't know nothing about this at the time, but if I knew about this at the time, I definitely wouldn't have been cool with it, because this is my place of employment. I don't know this nigga from a can of paint, and you living with me at the end of the day. So if he was just coming, like, even if he was just coming to pick you up, you know what I'm saying, now he know where I live. So keep that in mind. So anyways, I guess she finally gets her check, right? And she pays me, this was like the beginning of June, so she gives me full month's rent. So that was for May and June. And I was just like, this shit is really not like adding up. It's not making sense for me anymore. So she had started talking to the security guard, and she was still talking to the guy that I introduced her to in Miami, which I don't care. Do you, sis? You know what I'm saying? But I didn't even realize like it was really like that with the security guard until I get to that part in the story. So just keep that in mind. But okay, so we cool. Like we had never, there was never any beef. At least I thought there was never any beef, any drama or whatever between us. It was just I just had like frustration at times that she wasn't really helping me out, but I never really said nothing to her besides like, I need you to give me something, you know. But it was never rude. I never came off as a bitch or anything. I was always trying to be understanding. So she had finally got her check and decided that she was gonna give me like a full month's rent. So that was gonna cover May and June. So I'm like, cool, finally, you know, some help around here. I ain't tripping. Again, still making great money, still been like getting help from the dude that I was talking to at the time. Now, now that she got, you know, a little bit of money, I needed a vacation. I needed a getaway. I told you I was working 3 jobs. I was busting my ass. So I'm looking up some trips or whatever and find like a cruise on, I think we went on the Norwegian. It might have been in Norwegian. And it was like $200 a piece. So the cruise, it couldn't have been more than $200. It might have been like $150, $200 for us to share a room. And then the flights from to and from Miami was maybe like $50. So the trip alone probably didn't cost us more than $300. So I was like, let's go. So we booked the trip. We go on a trip or whatever. We're having a good time. So I thought, but I could kind of tell that there was like some weird energy, some weird vibes, because I'm big on energy and vibes. So she, like, I would ask her to take my pictures or whatever, and it would come off as if I was like bothering her. But I never have problem taking pictures of people at all, ever. So, but it was a few times where she kind of like ducked off on her own to do her own thing. Now the first day we got there, like we was turned up, having a good time with the people that was on the boat, everything. And it was like after the first day, that's when the vibe started changing. So she would like duck off and be on the phone or whatever. So I'm just thinking she talking to one of her niggas. I don't care, do you, boo? You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't need us to be like this up under each other all day. We live together. So we get back, the cruise docks or whatever, and we are at the airport, and they delayed our flight. So she was pissed that they delayed our flight. I got plans tonight, what the fuck, blah blah blah, just going off about them delaying the flight. And in my head, I'm just like, well, I mean, it ain't nothing that we can do. We just gonna be here. So, and then I could also tell her that, you know, sometimes when you coming back from vacation, you just want to get home. So I understand, but the way she was going off in that airport, I was like, whoa. So I just decided to give her space because her energy and vibe was just off. And I'm not the type of person to kiss nobody's ass and be like, oh, what's wrong? You know, do you want to talk about it? No. If I'm going to give you your space. And so she walking around with her headphones on, attitude, everything. So we finally getting ready to like board the plane after being delayed for maybe like 3 hours or whatever. We finally getting ready to board the plane. And she said something, I forget. She had said something so rude though to the people at the gate. And I'm like, yo, such and such, like, chill. She turned and looked at me and was like, you shut the fuck up talking to me. I said, oh, okay. And then all the people that are standing around are looking too, like, whoa. So I was like, oh, okay. So I just stepped back because I'm not confrontational. I will fight you if I fucking have to, but I'm not going looking for no fight. It's not necessary. I'm like, at the time, and I was making way too much money. I had way too much going on for myself to be fighting in the airport. So it just wasn't even worth it. So I just stepped back and I was like, okay. So we land. She walking through the airport like we don't know each other. Ended up getting an Uber to the house together, which was weird because you just told me to shut the fuck up. Now we catching an Uber to my apartment together. So I'm just like, okay, whatever. So we get to the apartment, and at this time now, like after that, the energy and the vibe was just off, and I would feel like I was coming into my apartment walking on eggshells, because again, I'm non-confrontational. So if you're giving off bad voodoo vibes, energy, and I'm gotta come into my house and then feel like I gotta go straight to my bedroom so that we don't even have to cross paths and say anything to each other, because when we are in the same room, you barely speak. I have to speak first, and I don't like that. Like, that shit's weird to me. It's rude as fuck. And it had got to the point where at the time I had my little Yorkie, Tyson, and before all of this happened, you used to take Tyson for walks. You would feed him. He was allowed to come into your bedroom, everything. After this instance, she stopped taking him for walks. And how I knew is because he would be locked in my room when I would leave in the morning. And when I would come home, he would still be in my room. But before that, he would be in a room with her when I would come home. So now you're mistreating my fucking child, my son, my dog, and you're acting weird towards me. So I'm just like, what the fuck is really going on? One day, I come home from work, and when I get home from work, I take my clothes off. I walk around my house naked, okay? Because it's my shit. And when I'm at home, I want to be comfortable. Even when, like, living with her, we both used to do the same thing. Like, I don't care, I'm gonna do this. That shit don't bother me. I'm not looking at you, you ain't looking at me. But I come home, take my clothes off, I go in the kitchen to grab me something to eat really quick, and then I go into my bedroom. As I'm in my bedroom, the door is closed, but I hear a man's voice. Now, mind you, when I pulled up, I didn't see her car parked outside. So I hear a man's voice, and I'm like, what the fuck? So I'm listening, and then I text her, and I'm like, yo, where you at? Because I didn't see your car, but I'm hearing a voice. So I don't know, maybe you dropped your car off, maybe somebody borrowed it. I don't know. Didn't respond. Then I'm laying there, and the motherfucking, I feel the air conditioning blowing. Mind y'all, my apartment was on a terrace level. So if you've ever been like in a terrace level apartment, it gets cold, like, and we didn't really need air conditioning. So I never really turned the air conditioner on before. We never had the air conditioner on. So now I'm like, what the fuck is that? The AC blowing? So that shit took me by surprise. Then I'm hearing the man's voice. So about maybe an hour and a half after I text her, I hear her come in the house. So I hear her, she's in the bedroom, and I hear her talking to him or whatever. So I'm thinking to myself, like, you had this nigga up in my house without telling me, and you got my AC on for him. You ain't paid me no utilities since you've been here for 6 months. You ain't paid me no utilities, and you only pay rent for 2 months, but you got my AC blowing for a nigga? I didn't even have niggas up in my shit. So now I'm really pissed. 2, you didn't let me know that he was there, and now I'm walking around my apartment naked. I was pissed. So I'm calling my mom. I'm like, yo, what am I gonna do? I'm talking to my mom about it. She's like, look, you're just gonna have to let her know that it's not working out anymore. You shouldn't be uncomfortable coming and going out of your house. That's unacceptable. And it's unacceptable that you got a nigga that works at my job. If anybody know Allure 2019, 2020, it was bread. Like, we were making bread. So this nigga can see how much money I'm making, and it's cash flow. So again, I don't know him from a can of paint and don't trust him. He could have been he could have at any point tried to set me up, get me robbed. Who fucking knows? You know what I'm saying? Like, that shit wasn't cool. So I'm like, oh no, you gotta go. You gotta go. So I sent her a nice little text message because she was a very confrontational person. So I was just like, let me just send a text to get out what I gotta say. So I sent her a text pretty much like, you know, this really isn't working out anymore. You know, I just broke the text message down. It was long. Broke it down, why it wasn't working out anymore, how I still really cared about her. I wanted to maintain a friendship with her, how I was feeling coming and going out of my house. It was no longer comfortable. But I love her as a friend, and in order for us to maintain our friendship, I think it would be best for her to move out. I wasn't saying that she had to leave right then and there. I'm like, you know, I'm gonna give you 30 days to figure it out. She responds back to me and was like, figure out what? I don't have no, I don't know what I'm gonna do or whatever. Like, she pretty much was saying that I don't have no plan. And I was like, well, that's not my problem. Like, you need to figure it out. Like, you got 30 days. But I was, again, nice about it. And I was just like, I don't know what you want me to tell you, but I can't keep footing the bill. If I'm working 3 jobs, you gonna have to figure this out on your own. I'm sorry, like, I'm not doing this no more. So she didn't like that. She had an attitude about it. She was still coming off aggressive towards me. And I'm just like, what the fuck? Like, I'm saying that I still want to be friends with you. Like, I really care about you. But us living together is not working out. So this was in July. And my dad's birthday had like a family get together or whatever in Virginia. So what I did was I went and got a camera, and I set the camera up in my living room while I was going on my family trip. I'm on my family trip. I set the camera up in my living room, and she didn't know that there was a camera there because it looks like one of those air freshener things that like squirt out air freshener. So I had it on the bookshelf. So it gave me notifications because at this time I'm like, I didn't want nobody. I put the camera in there thinking that I didn't want nobody coming and going out of my shit. But what it came down to was I get a notification. I start watching the camera. Y'all, this girl is talking so much shit about me, and I'm catching it all on camera. She's on the phone with the nigga that I introduced her to in Miami. She's on the phone with him like, yeah, this bitch told me that I gotta figure it out. I got 30 days to go, blah, 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 blah. She needs me. I don't need her. And I'm thinking to myself, like, when did I ever fucking need you? Like, when did I need you? She was like, she messing with that nigga and she don't even need to be messing with him, and he don't give a fuck about her, and she think he care. I know he's probably the one who told her to put me out, and why would it wasn't his fucking apartment. The apartment wasn't in his name. He did suggest like she gotta go, but that wasn't why I made my decision. But she's on the phone talking to him, telling him all my business about me and the guy that I'm dating, all of our business. She asked me to go to LA with her to help her out with some, you know, with whatever it was that we was doing in LA or whatever. And I told her I wasn't doing that. But mind you, I'm literally trying to put her on.
Inquiring minds need to know what that was.
I'm trying to put her on. And now you talking shit about me and the nigga that I'm dating. Shit, mind you, when I came to Atlanta again in 2018, so this is July 2019. So in 2018, when I came down to Atlanta, I came down with whatever could fit in my car. If it didn't fit in my car, I wasn't taking it. So clothes, TVs, a TV, my shoes and stuff. I made like maybe 2 or 3 trips because that's how much clothes and, you know, like other little stuff that I had. But I didn't have no furniture, nothing. So I was grinding it out to furnish and everything when I first moved to Atlanta. So by the time she moved in, my whole apartment was furnished. Living room, dining room, kitchen was done, my bedroom was done, everything. Like, she just had a bedroom. She had to order her own bed. So I bust my ass to put all of that shit in my house, and it was nice stuff. So she's on the phone like, I'll fuck all this shit up. She just don't know. I'll fuck all this shit up in here. Said she would break my table, said she would cut my couches up, and I'm like, whoa. So mind y'all, I'm out of town. And I didn't want her to know that I had the camera. So I'm just letting the camera go. So she's just talking all this shit. And the nigga, pillow talking back with her. Like, my nigga, you don't know me. Your homeboy knows me. You know what I'm saying? Like, but you don't know me. So you don't have no opinion about nothing. No way. And y'all literally just met a couple months ago. So okay, now you guys are trauma bonding or whatever the fuck y'all had going on. Anywho, so I call the guy that I'm dating at the time, and I'm like, yo, when I get back, because at the time my apartment was under a CPM. So
scamming.
I said, when I get back, I need the movers at my apartment. He was like, what? I said, I'm moving my shit out and I'm going. Like, I had already been looking for apartments and everything. So y'all know how petty I am. I went up to the leasing office, and they didn't know that the apartment that I was staying in, that I was staying there. So I went up to the leasing office with my nigga, and we got another apartment in the same apartment complex. So didn't tell her, didn't say nothing. Got the keys like maybe a week later to my new apartment, which was still a 2-bedroom. Got the keys. Called one day, she was gone. I don't know what the fuck she was doing because she ain't had no job. So, but she was gone. Call my homegirls, and I'm like, yo, I need both of y'all to come over here. We about to put all this shit as much as we can in these cars, take it around the bin, take it to the new apartment. I don't want nothing left in here but the furniture. The movers will be here this weekend. They like, I'm on the way. So my girls pull up. We are literally piling shit up like in the car and literally just taking it around the corner. I didn't need no boxes. I wasn't boxing shit up because it was going around the corner. So we did all of this. So she comes home and notices that everything is gone out of the kitchen, out of like all the decorations and stuff are off the wall, off the shelves. Only thing that she could notice that was still there was the couches and the table and chairs. So she gets on the phone with somebody again, and she's like, do you know she's trying to move out of the apartment on me? She's trying to move out on me. What she expect me to do? Was she just gonna leave me to be homeless? I fuck all this shit up that's still in here. So again, threatening to damage my property that I bust my ass for. So as soon as I heard that shit, I'll call my nigga again. I said, yo, I'm not waiting till Saturday for the movers. Have them at my house in the morning. He's like, what? I said, because she's threatening to fuck my shit up, and if she do, we gonna have a bigger issue. So the movers was there the next morning at 8 a.m. She was there at 8 a.m. I didn't even sleep at the apartment because I didn't even want to talk to her. So the movers was there at 8 a.m. While she was there, they moved that couch out. They moved that table and chairs out. They moved my bedroom set out. And I was in the kitchen. She walks out as they were moving the stuff out. And by the time she got back, it wasn't nothing left in there but what she came with. When I tell you, I didn't even leave a bowl or a spoon for this bitch. You came with nothing, you leave with nothing. Or you leave with what you came with. You came with what you came with, you leave with what you came with. Period. And I don't mean to say bitch like in a demeaning way, because I told y'all, like, I don't have no ill feelings towards nobody. But yeah, I didn't leave shit. So by the time all my shit was gone out, I sent her a text message and I said, the next time somebody decide they want to help you out, remember not to talk shit about them and threaten to damage their property. Y'all know what I did? I left the camera. The only thing that I left in there was the camera sitting on the shelf, so that she knew that, bitch, you was being recorded. You were being recorded. You sure were. I sent her that text message, and she responded back. I think she made her responded back and was like, what am I supposed to do? How am I supposed to pay the rent? Because again, like, that apartment was on CPN. So I was just like, I don't know, like, you can pay the rent to the leasing office if you want to continue to stay there. Again, I wasn't putting her out, but at the same time, I'm not going to keep paying bills for somebody who is ungrateful, and when I have the capability to get up and get the fuck on. So that's what I did, is got up and got the fuck on. Like, I ain't gonna never let nobody hold me down. So I wasn't putting her out. I was just like, you gotta figure it out on your own. You couldn't figure it out, so I figured it out for us. Period. So I, like, maybe a couple weeks later or like a month later or whatnot, the leasing office, they contacted me thinking that I was the lady who had the other apartment, and they were like, we haven't received rent. We went by the apartment and the locks were changed, and I was like, well, I no longer live in the country. That my cousin is staying in that apartment. She was supposed to be taking care of it. You know, I'm not sure if she changed the locks or why she would have, whatever. So they were like, well, we're gonna have to, you know, file for an eviction. So they ended up filing for eviction. One day I drove past the house, we drove past the apartment just to see. Her car wasn't out there. So I'm like, being nosy as fuck, walk up to the apartment, and I'm like trying to see through the blinds and stuff to see if she was still in there. And she was. Like, she was still in her bedroom stuff, and everything was still in there. She had like clothes drying on like the shelves that was in there. So I was like, oh well, I guess she's still here. But come to find out, through like a mutual acquaintance of ours, she ended up moving to LA to live with like a cousin or somebody. And this mutual acquaintance of ours told me, she was like, girl, she had a problem with you months ago. And I was like, what? She was like, yeah, before y'all even went on y'all cruise, she used to be calling me, talking shit about you, talking about, you know, she didn't like something about your relationship, and you was acting funny towards her about the rent. And I was like, what? Mind you, I never got any of these vibes. We used to go out and kick it. Like, we was still going out and kicking it and having a good old time before the cruise. So she was like, yeah. And I told her before y'all went on that cruise, I was like, why are you going on that cruise with her? Like, don't go on that cruise with her, like, if you feel that kind of way. And I was like, wow. Like, wow. So this whole time I'm living with the enemy, unknowingly living with the enemy. So she was like, yeah, you're not wrong. You know, I heard, because I told her my side of the story, and she was like, I heard her side of the story, and now I'm hearing your side of the story. Like, you're not wrong for how you feel or whatever. So yeah, she ended up moving to LA. I ended up moving out of my apartment. Oh, and I guess she was going around telling people that, because at the time I was trying to save up money because I wanted to, like, my plan was to get a house in 2020. So she was going around telling people that I needed her to live with me to help me pay the rent so that I could save up to buy a house. That was never the case. Like, I was making great fucking money, and I bought a house without her helping me do anything. Bought a brand new 2020 Jeep in 2019, like a couple months after I moved out from living with her. Bought a 2020 Jeep in November of 2019. In February of 2020, put the down payment on a house. Like, bought my own house without her. So, moral of the story is, now whenever somebody asks me, can they come and stay with me, or, you know, I really can't even do it. Like, I've even turned down family. Like, nope. And if you are coming to visit from out of town, you need to have a return flight to go back to where the fuck you came from. And I just don't like people staying in my house no more. It's just, I have been traumatized that I can't even let family come and live with me. But yeah, that is who the fuck did I let live with me. Somebody that I thought was one of my bestest friends, and she was really the enemy. So I don't know what it was. I don't know if it turned into jealousy, if we was never really friends from the beginning and I thought we were. I don't know what it was. And again, I have receipts. So if she ever tried to talk bad about me or how I handled the situation, that was why I always text, because I had the receipts. I also have the video footage of her talking shit.
That's what we need.
That's neither here nor there. I just wanted to give y'all a story time. And yeah, that explains why I don't let people live with me or come and visit me for long periods of time. Especially not my shit that I own, because I can't just get up and move out like I did in 2019.
What to do, everyday people, man? It's your boy PJ. Today we back with another lit video, back in the confessional, and yes, we staying on lit, big dog. Shout out to my everyday people who rock with me every day. Shout out to my player partner, Mr. Lucky Wizard Diaz. Check out his YouTube channel, man, Lucky Nation Station. Hey man, hit the link down below. We got Moose Coffee, okay, where you can get your coffee down. Now, I have been made aware that they do offer K-Cups. So if you want to use your K-Cup, go ahead and pick your flavor. And when you pick your flavor and you select the size that you want, you should be able to get that K-cup size, okay? So do that, hit the link down below, and use the discount code everydaypj at checkout. Now, let's get into the video. Alright. Now, everything 2019, 2020, CPN, Atlanta, everything about this woman. Strip club, scam city. Scam city. Okay? All I can hear is, I did this scam, I hit this lick, and I was doing these 6 jobs. And yeah, you had 3 jobs, okay? You had, you was stripping, you was doing a, what is it, physical training, and you were scamming, okay? That's 3 jobs. Come on. 2020, everybody had money. And one thing about people from, I know how people in Atlanta had money because I was getting money with people from Atlanta. So I know Atlanta had money in 2020. Like, I seen somebody go from making $50,000 a year to like $400,000 a year in 2020. I did. I witnessed it. I was like, damn. And then my money, I went from making nothing, like 27,000 to almost 75 in like a summer. 2020, everybody was getting money. And I'll tell you, people from Atlanta knew the scam. So, yeah. When somebody say CPN, you say CPN, VPN, all that, the PNs, UPN, Atlanta scamming. Okay. Enough about that. You know, based on the situation, this girl, I don't think she was wrong. I think she did what any person would do. It's kind of, it's not shocking that this would happen because you when you let people in. Sometimes they take advantage of you, and unfortunately this is a friend and you don't want your friends to take advantage of you. But you know what, if you really want to know if they're your friend, if you let your friend move in with you and they treat you this bad, that was never your friend. That was never your friend at all, because ain't no way your friend would do you like that. No, a friend would step up and help you. A friend, okay? She was never your friend. In fact, she would do this to anybody. If she would do that to a so-called friend, she would do this to anybody. So, ma'am, you're not the exception. That's how she treats her friends. Don't expect don't expect people to treat you how you would treat people. And when you call her your friend, she did not return that favor. She was your friend in your face, around in everybody else's face. You was the enemy. You was this, you was that. And you heard it firsthand. Drop the recordings. We need to hear that. Because that's the only thing that's going to convince me to believe this story. So we need the recordings so I can put them up on this video. I'm just saying. But yeah, it would have been nice to see. But I think if we hear a response from this, we'll see those recordings. Because sister, why was you talking noise about a chick that's letting you live at her house? That's a violation. You out of line, bum. You can't be doing that. You out of line. That was totally out of line, and you should be ashamed of yourself. Don't do that ever again. So I hope she learned a lesson. The more importantly, I hope she got a job, because that not working was crazy. I remember I let some friends. I didn't really let them stay with me. But I let them stay the night because they didn't have nowhere to go. But then they just wouldn't leave. And my girl was getting, like, she was like, I can't have this. And then I told them, like, look, man, when I gotta go to work, y'all gotta find somewhere to go. I can't be leaving this house and leaving y'all here. I love y'all, I respect y'all, but y'all gotta find something better to do. You know, because my woman is not feeling comfortable. Okay? And then, you know, hindsight, looking back at it, I should have kicked her out too. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. But yeah, and the fact is, they was just taking advantage of it. They was sitting around smoking weed. They wasn't getting a job. They wasn't helping out with the bills. They might buy some cheeseburgers or something, but that's because they can afford it. And they was selling weed out the house. Like, of course they got a little cheeseburger money, but what are we talking about? Like, like I wasn't the oldest, but I definitely one of the younger ones. And I'm the only one that's working. I'm the only one that's got a job. Now somebody else got to pull a job around here. Y'all can't just be sitting around here playing a video game all day. We playing with PlayStation at the time, PlayStation 2 maybe. Yeah. Anyway, everyday people, let me know what y'all think about this in the comment section. Like, comment, subscribe, and holler at you later. Peace.